Hello, I'm Russell Brand, host of the Trews True News. News you can trust. Subscribe here. Or can you trust me? Because old Russ is a bit of a hypocrite. Drinking coffee from a cup. Living in a house, as you see, I'm in my tax haven luxury palace. Look at this bloody thing today out of the sun. No, not Jimmy. No, not an attempt to curry favour with Liverpool fans. No, this bit here. This argument's really hard to follow. He rants against high rents and corrupt landlords and tax avoidance, and yet he has a corrupt landlord. I'm not the boss of the landlord. I just give the money to an estate agent registered in Britain, like anyone who gives them money to an estate agent. Hypocrite! Luckily, I've had a bit of support on the issue from people like Owen Jones. He tweeted, "Stop combating starvation. You have a fridge full of food. Hypocrite!" Hashtag the Sun Logic. Let's have a look at the real issue, because we don't want to be distracted, because this story is all generated because of my support of the campaign of the New Era estate to confront their corrupt landlords, Westbrook. They want to drive up rent and drive them out of the area. Let's have a look about the reality of the situation of taxation in this country, because it really is an important issue. So, like with my particular situation, I just pay my rent to an estate agent, he or she, I don't know who it is. It's not Rigsby. I'm not in Rising Damp. I don't have Leonard Rossett out patrolling about, like, you know, I don't know what happens then. But whatever they're doing, it is legal. Should it be legal? That's the real question. Philip Green, he owns Topshop, which is a good shop. We all like Topshop. Paid himself 1.2 billion dividend in 2005 and didn't pay any tax because he says Topshop's actually owned by his wife Tina, who lives in Monaco. I'd love to pay her some tax and that, but Tina owns bloody Topshop and she lives in Monaco. Ah, fair enough, mate, fair enough. It's completely legal. It's completely legal. Only the system would have to change. Now, if you go to Topshop or I go to Topshop, does that make us hypocrites? Or Starbucks? Or use Amazon? Or use Google? Or use Vodafone? All these things that are all around us, they're legal entities operating within the system. It's like the system is what needs to change. I mean, they're all human beings. I'm not saying Philip Green is actually evil, but he's operating legally within a system that benefits some people and doesn't benefit others. Has anyone lately in the public eye been saying that the whole system needs to change? I don't know. Public schools, check this out. Now, you all know that we're governed by people that go Eton and Harrow, and I bet if you went to Eton and Harrow, them kids are lovely little kids in top hats. They'll be sound. I'm not having a go. This isn't about class, but Eton and Harrow are designated by the government as charities. People can get tax relief on charitable donations. Many rich people make donations to the public school where the children are being educated. Oh my God. Eton and Harrow, that's a charity. Doing a lot of charity work lately. What is it? Training the richest people in the world to be clever enough so that we can't argue with them. Oh, the Inland Revenue, who's in charge of all of our tax, right, negotiate with people or companies over how much tax they should pay. In 2010, Goldman Sachs, who I think have got quite a lot of money, they lost a long-running court case over unpaid tax, owing the government 40 million, but negotiated a deal with David Hartnett. Oh, hello, I've got a heart net. I'll capture your heart. I need one. He was head of the Inland Revenue. He let them off with 10 million. Over 25 billion pound of tax goes uncollected each year. So 25 billion pound of tax, they just don't collect it because they've negotiated with the big companies. 25 billion is such a big number, but check this out. In, I think about 5 years ago, there's a hospital built in Leeds. I think it was called sort of just St James's. Check for yourself, but it cost 500 million to build that whole hospital from scratch. So when you say 25 billion, that's 50 hospitals a year. Oh no, there's no money for the NHS. We've got to privatise it. There's no money. Is there 25 billion pound of tax somewhere? Yes, we've let people off of it. But now let's move on to the you know, like, I don't want to make this about personal things, because this story, what this should be saying is brave New Era estate, but what it actually says is hypocrite. Now, do you know who owns the Sun newspaper? I'll tell you. It's a man. His name is Rupert Murdoch, right? Rupert Murdoch, he must be really confident in the area of tax, mustn't he? Like, looks like what I like is they've got, like, imagine the resources the Sun have got. They've got the resources to keep, like, Rebecca Brooks out of jail. Andy Coulson only got a light sentence, remember, after they went through that dead girl's phone. Enough resources to never really pay the price for the travesty of Hillsborough and the Justice for the 96 campaign, which we continue to support. So they've got some serious resources. They've, like, run this massive thing, and what they've come up with is his landlord don't pay tax. So that is like the bit in Life of Brian where the Roman garrison go into the flat of the People's Front of Judea and come back with one spoon.
How many spoons, sir? Well done, Sergeant.
But let's have a little bit of a glance, which anyone can do using Google, who don't pay their tax, about Rupert Murdoch. Rupert Murdoch himself managed to avoid running up a tax bill over 11 years. He saved 350 million by using totally legal tax loopholes. That would pay for 7 new hospitals, a bit cheaper than the one I mentioned before, 50 secondary schools or 300 primary schools. So what do you want? Do you want Rupert Murdoch in absolute luxury, because the guy hates hypocrisy, or would you prefer the schools of various types and the hospitals? Interesting. He did this by using legal tax havens. So the law's obviously got to change. His media conglomerate, News Corp, which owns the Sun and the Fox News, all of our friends in humanity there, they lobbied in favour of a thing called the Panama Free Trade Pact, which made it possible for Panama to remain as a tax haven, and News Corp runs a subsidiary there, meaning that that's a legit, totally legal tax haven that they've got there. Not saying these people are doing anything illegal, I'm saying it's a disgrace, isn't it, that those things are legal. They've got 136 such subsidiaries in various nations that are tax havens. A tax haven means a corporation can stash its money there, never pay tax, never contribute to our society. They've got 62 in the British Virgin Islands, 33 in the Cayman Islands, and 21 in Hong Kong. So News Corp and Rupert Murdoch, the man behind this, does that stuff quite often. So like, if they can call me a hypocrite because of something my landlord does, what can we call him for something he does in himself? Someone tweeted at BillyMac1964 said, my mum pays her taxes, but she bought a Take That album. Hypocrite! To Wanda Mark Gavur, don't complain about banker's bonus. You tacitly condone such behaviour the moment you opened an account. Hypocrite! Rahul Singh says, you hate the Sun newspaper, but you once flicked through the Sun as a teenager. Hypocrite, I mean, I've got it here. I'm contributing even now to the problem because the system is all around us. We live in an aquarium of hypocrisy. But this is a systemic problem. These companies are able to do this legally within the system, and it's getting worse. George Osborne has announced 7 billion of tax cuts that are actually going to help the richest people. The Tories promised to raise the income tax allowance. It wouldn't help any of the 5 million lowest paid workers in Britain, and neither would any of the other three parties' plans. No one's doing anything for the 5 million poorest people in Britain. No one. In conclusion, what can all of us do? We can all try our best. If you make it about an individual, like me, like saying, oh, Russell Brand's a hypocrite. All right, I'm a hypocrite. I'll tattoo it on my face if you like. But the problem is still the problem. The system is still the system. The system is set up to support and help the richest people, while the poorest people have no purchase, have no power. And if one person with a bit of money, me, stands up and says, oh, I'll help a little bit, no, you're a hypocrite. Do you think they really care about me being a hypocrite? Or do you think they want to control the narrative so that no one with a voice can ever speak out about these issues? Because if they do, the real hypocrites, Philip Green, George Osborne, Rupert Murdoch, the people that benefit most from this system will be made accountable. So what is the true news? If we come together and support local campaigns like the New Era Estate or the Fire Brigade Union or whatever it is, you tell me. You're as good as me. We're all a little bit hypocritical because we all live in the aquarium of hypocrisy that is modern, capitalist, consumer, Western democracy. And if we come together, if we speak out, there's a chance we can change it. If we don't, they've won and there's nothing we can do. That is the true news. Subscribe here, subscribe here, subscribe here. Or you could just read this. This is also quite good. The Hillsborough campaign is still ongoing, by the way. Support the 96, Justice for the 96.
Is a tool that is abused to fool you and to leave you scared and confused. Trews is like the news. If the news was true, I want some Trews. Let's have some Trews.